affect our health more than we realize.
Clear information on packages about what's in our food can help us have a healthy diet. From the Food Policy Coalition Kenya.
Well, a very good evening and welcome to the Legends edition. Tonight, a growing standoff over Kenya's preparedness against Ebola as Kenya medical practitioners and dentist union demands that the government respect a court order and holds plans to establish an Ebola quarantine facility for U.S. citizens. We unpack the controversy, the public health concerns, and what it means for the country's disease preparedness strategy. Stay with us for that and much more making headlines this evening. Here is a look at the stories making headlines.
Wetu tafadhali wacheni kuchoma mashule. The pain is beyond explanation. It's more than words can explain.
Grief overcomes families of students who perished in the Utumishi Girls Secondary School fire as identification of bodies began. At least 11 schools in Baringo County are submerged in the waters of the swollen lakes Bogoria and Baringo. Outrage over plans to establish an Ebola quarantine facility for U.S. citizens, even as the government assures that it is not taking any chances. A warm welcome to the Legends edition. My name is Yambo and helping me on the sign language is Byron Aboli. Let's begin in Naivasha, where families of the 16 students who perished in the tragic fire at the Utumishi Girls Secondary School were overcome with grief as the painful process of identifying the victims began at the Naivasha Sub-County Hospital mortuary. Only 3 of the 16 bodies were positively identified, as authorities say the remaining bodies were severely burnt and mutilated, making visual identification nearly impossible. Distraught relatives struggle to come to terms with the devastating loss of the 16 students that has left many unanswered questions. Following the identification of only 3 of the victims, the families will still have to wait for DNA analysis on all the bodies before the government releases them for burial. Among those affected is Yambo resident Njoki Thimba, who lost his niece in the inferno.
I was able to identify my niece because she was not badly off. After that, we have been told that we shall wait for the post-mortem process, and they're also going to get samples for the DNA tests.
Leo ni siku ya 4. Ni bahati mbaya sana Zura bado hatujamzika, ya kwamba hatujafuata ile utaratibu ya dini. Tungeomba kwa unyenyekevu zaidi na heshima ya kwamba ikiwa matokeo yatatokea na mengine labda yatachelewa, sisi yetu ikitokea tupewe tuende tumzike.
She was a candidate, a bright girl, a performing one. I don't want to know what to say.
The development comes as the government announced the formation of a joint funeral committee that will work with the affected families to coordinate a collective memorial service and burial arrangements at a venue yet to be announced. As families continue to seek answers, calls for justice are growing louder, with relatives demanding a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the deadly fire.
I wish the culprits wageretwa mogo waone vile watu wamekufa waone waangalie. I know they will not repeat this again.
They have urged the authorities to expedite the identification process to lessen the agony of families seeking to bury their loved ones and begin the healing journey. The identification exercise is expected to continue as forensic experts endeavor to establish the identities of all the victims, bringing families one step closer to finding closure following one of the country's most devastating school tragedies. At least 11 schools in 2 constituencies of Baringo County have been affected by the rising waters of Lakes Baringo and Bogoria, disrupting learning activities and exposing learners to dangers of crocodiles and snakes. Basic Education Principal Secretary Julius Bitok says the ministry is working with local leaders and education stakeholders to address the situation.
The situation in Baringo North and Baringo South constituencies of Baringo County is alarming. The rising waters of Lake Baringo and Bogoria have disrupted learning activities, forcing some schools to relocate while others continue operating under extremely difficult circumstances. This is Loruk Primary School in Baringo North. Nearly half of the school compound is submerged in water. Parents fear for their children who are exposed to dangers of crocodiles, hippos and snakes.
Watoto wetu wanakaa hapa na mamba, wanakaa na hippos, tunaita kiboko, na hata manyoka. Yani shule yenyewe si salama.
Shule yangu ya Nusukuro imeingia kwa maji. Sokotei Primary iko shida, kwa sababu maji imefika. Lorok Primary iko shida. Sokotei Secondary School iko shida. Iyo ni kwa upande wa Lake Baringo. Ile Lake Baringo mlikuwa najua Lake Baringo na Lake Bogoria ilikuwa kilomita 38.7. Leo napoongea na nyinyi ni kilomita 7 peke yake imekaribiana. 30 imeenda.
The situation has also led to a growing health crisis, with parents reporting increased cases of malaria among pupils due to the proliferation of mosquitoes around the flooded areas.
Hata hii wiki hii karibu watoto 20 kwa class ya mwalimu wakijaribu kufunza mwingine naanguka, mwingine paka hata walimu nachanganyikiwa kwa sababu ya hii maji.
Plans are underway to relocate the school to higher ground to safeguard learners and staff as the government promises a solution.
I call upon to extend their support to the Ministry of Education so that these 11 schools around this particular region that are being swallowed by expansion of Lake Baringo to actually be rescued, to be moved and relocated to safer grounds.
We are working very closely with Ministry of Interior and other agencies to ensure that this school is safely evacuated to a safer place, because clearly the lake is expanding and it is consuming all facilities, all the schools around the area.
Tilio Marco for Legends Edition.
Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union, KMPDU, now wants the government to respect the court order issued on Thursday and stop all plans of building the Ebola quarantine center for U.S. citizens at the Laikipia Air Base. But as Giverson Maina now reports, Public Health Principal Secretary says Kenya has set up its own quarantine centers, adding that any suspected case would be referred to the Kenyatta National Hospital.
As countries marshal resources to avoid the spread of the deadly Ebola virus from DRC and Uganda, Public Health Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni says Kenya will not take any chances with enhanced screening at Kenya's major entry points.
Before they board the plane, they are screened, and when they land in our country, they are also screened.
Speaking during a tour of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Muthoni said all travelers to Kenya are required to fill out online self-check forms to confirm their health status. She says any suspected case will be taken to an isolation center at the airport before being referred to Kenyatta National Hospital.
If we find that somebody is unwell on board an aircraft, we are notified by the aircraft. Once the port health officers are notified, they come and pick the passenger from after disembarking from the aircraft.
These measures, however, did not seem to appease other stakeholders, with the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union KMPDU arguing that Kenya lacks a robust healthcare system to contain Ebola virus.
And the best way we insist that any outbreak is contained is to ensure that the epicenter, where it is starting from, like in Congo, there has to be a strong management there. So the government of Kenya, the regional government must be able to support Congo, because the lives that are being lost there are lives of people. And there's no way you will say that you will isolate Americans there while the spread is still continuing everywhere.
They further demanded transparency and non-reliance on the U.S. government for information.
That this order asks for the government to be transparent and to give the details of this particular agreement. Why? Because it is only through transparency that we will know to what extent every Kenyan is protected.
Remarks echoed by People's Liberation Party leader Martha Karua, Kirinyaga former women representative Wangui Ngirishi, Makueni woman representative Susan Kiamba, and Makueni Senator Daniel Manzo.
How dare them entertain the idea that they can bring Ebola-affected people to Kenya to protect America but endanger the Kenyan population?
We did not onboard anything about quarantining people from other countries in our country, so that we can endanger our own medics, endanger our own people.
Serikali iko na mashamba ya kutosha kwa boda za Kenya. Wanda huko ndio mtu sasa kama alikuwa mgeni hapa Kenya akitibiwa anaenda akienda kwao. Lakini hapana safirisha disease all the way from the border to the middle of the country.
It's a no. Because we don't have the capacity for the biosecurity that corona would actually have for this country.
Give us Minor Legends Edition.
Let's just focus on matters politics, where for the second time in barely a month, Siaya Governor James Orengo has been attacked in Luo Nyanza. In the latest incident on Friday, Orengo was attacked when he visited Homa Bay, and in what appears to be a scheme to edge him out for siding with the Linda Mwananchi ODM faction that rivals party leader Oburu Oginga's Linda Ground faction, Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi has launched a scathing attack on the first-time governor that may dim his chance of re-election. And as Wycliffe Okech now reports, all this comes just a day to the ODM Grand Rally in Kisumu, aimed at solidifying its grip in the region ahead of the general elections.
Barely 4 weeks after his ejection from a funeral in Kisumu, Siaya Governor James Orengo is crying foul after he was attacked by alleged hired goons while touring parts of Homa Bay County on Friday.
And in the process, two of us were very badly injured.
Condemning the incident, Orengo called for political tolerance and urged his counterparts in the Linda Ground wing to welcome divergent political opinions.
This is not how to play politics. In Siaya, everybody comes to Siaya. They do their politics. They even say things about us. We never stop anybody.
But Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi differs, saying opponents of the broad-based government are not welcome in the party.
If we elected you and you have chosen to depart from us, we can't force you to come back.
Speaking at his Jimbo village home in Ugunja sub-county after meeting members of the Siaya County Assembly, Wandayi further threatened to clip Orengo's bid for a second term as Siaya governor, saying his election was a mistake that the Siaya electorate must correct.
I will personally not allow myself to be party to a situation where we make another mistake.
And at Kirembe grounds in Kisumu, all is set for the ODM rally on Sunday as the Oburu-led faction of the Orange Party moves to tighten its grip in the region ahead of the 2027 general elections.
As we speak, we are at 97.7% ready.
Yes. We are expecting up to 30,000 people that will be here.
The rally, according to organizers, is geared towards fortifying ODM and Luo Nyanza unity under the broad-based arrangement.
Our intention is to engage vigorously with our grassroots as we continue to build the largest party south of Sahara and north of River Limpopo.
Security arrangements have been finalized to ensure safety of those attending.
In terms of security, top-notch. In terms of organization, top-notch.
On the same day, the Linda Mwananchi faction will hold a parallel rally in Machakos. Reporting for Channel 1 from Kisumu County, I am Wycliffe Okage.
Let's focus on matters education now, where technical and vocational education and training TVET enrollment in Kenya has grown significantly in the last 3 years, as deliberate efforts by the Ministry of Education are redefining technical skills as a pivot in the national development. Continued investments in technical institutions are remodeling, that is, the village polytechnics into centers of innovation, industrial excellence and entrepreneurship, producing a skilled and globally competitive workforce. Let's get the details of that story.
This is the changing face of education in the country. In just 3 years, trainee enrollment in technical vocational education and training TVET institutions has more than doubled, from about 300,000 students to about 800,000 students this year. This surge is courtesy of deliberate government interventions that have made TVET accessible, affordable and a cog in the country's development.
Incoming of this government, it was agreed that one of the things that must be sorted out is to have the skilled young people to be able to babysit this country to the next level of development. And therefore, in this department, we have completely exited the theoretical training into absolute technical training.
In place of the then village polytechnics that were the last option for students who missed the mark for university education, is a new crop of TVET institutions, modern and equipped for the future. The competency-based education and training CBET curriculum has further revolutionized the training in TVET institutions, prioritizing acquisition of practical competence.
The institutions are now allowed to even invite the Juakali trainers into our institution and be able to take care of them as councils and boards, because what we must achieve is bringing people into our space who have the skills, and we translate them to our trainees.
Trainees can now progress through certified modules, acquire employable competencies at every stage, and transition into the job market with relevant skills even before completing an entire course.
We are saying that training young people and just graduating them are outputs, and we want to train our young people with outcomes. Where are you going to after the training? Because we have got many industries, both locally and internationally, who are looking for young people to work for them. What has been missing? The technical training, the absolute skills that are needed everywhere in the world.
Another milestone is the Kenya Credit Accumulation and Transfer System cards, developed by the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. This framework enables students to quantify, validate and transfer academic or technical credits across TVET institutions, universities and professional bodies. A presidential directive also tasked the State Department for Technical Vocational Education and Training with leading a landmark initiative to redefine grassroots motorsport development and technical training in Kenya. Students from various technical institutions are participating in the assembling of motorsport vehicles at the Kenya School of TVET.
We have begun with the basic fabrication of the chassis from the scratch by the bedding of the various tubes for the frame. It is after that we have done the joining of those particular system, the gear drives, the total assembly, After that, we are going to do the bodywork so that we can be able to cover the car to be able to take the shape required. The team is actually here to implement a presidential directive that was given to TVET institution to be able to design and fabricate a motorsport car.
Recognition of prior learning has expanded TVET beyond first-time entrance into formal training.
Nimekuja hapa ili nifanye mtihani ili nitestiwe nionekane kama najua, na ni furaha kwangu juu vitu zenye nafanya hapa ni vitu nimekuwa nafanya kila siku. Nimezifanyia huko kwa different sites. Nimekuwa nafanya kazi ya carpenter for long, but sikuwa nimeweza kusoma shuleni.
Young Kenyans trained in local TVETs are now working in sectors such as manufacturing, construction, healthcare, fashion, among others, realizing financial independence.
But out here, technical courses zinakula. I myself, I've done a technical course for the past 4 years, and seriously regret.
The government's vision for each of the 290 constituencies is a modern and fully equipped TVET comprising digital classrooms, specialized laboratories, and advanced training equipment.
We are working very hard as a department, as a ministry, as a government to be able to get there, to be able to get our young people to exceed the finesse that is needed.
As Kenya celebrates Madaraka Day under the theme Education, Skills and the Future, the progress witnessed in TVET institutions stands as a clear evidence that the country is investing in its greatest resource, its people. Caroline Kamar reporting for Legends Edition.
And on that note, the Legends Edition takes a break. We'll be back with much more, including Madaraka Day preparations and, of course, sports with my colleague, that is Anadokomo. Stay with us.
Wakenya, ni wakati mwingine wa kuhakikisha kuwa umefile KRA returns. Je, uko rada una challenge yoyote? Usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC Channel 1 wanakuja hapo ulipo kusaidia kufile returns na kulipia ushuru wako. Jiunge na msafara wa KRA Roadshow, uwe fiti mambo ya returns. Jumatatu ya tarehe 1 mwezi Juni mwaka huu, tunazuru eneo la Naivasha kuanzia Naivasha. Tuingie Gilgil kisha tushuke Olkalau. Tupenyeze hadi Nyahururu, tuingie Subukia, Maili 6, Bahati, Langalanga na kumalizia Nakuru Town. Tarehe 30 Juni kwa mlangoni. Usingoje hadi dakika za mwisho. File KRA returns mapema. Ishi bila stress. Jijue, jibeta. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
The Thematic Week program brings together Kenya's top leaders under the theme Education, Skills and the Future. From Thursday to Saturday, 28th to 30th May 2026, join leading education stakeholders and His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, for 4 days of transformative dialogue, innovation, leadership and inclusion. Discover bold ideas shaping the future of learning, skills development and opportunity for generations to come. Be part of the conversation driving Kenya's educational transformation forward. Watch the Thematic Week program live from Wagberry Primary School, Wajir County on KBC Channel 1.
Kwa majina naitwa Mnosu Elias, natoka eneo la Pokot Magharibi. Nimekuja chuo hii cha Mosoriot kwa walimu. Kile ambacho kimenifanya nije nifanye kozi hii ni wanafunzi wako juu kielimu, lakini walimu ndio wachache. Ndiposa nimeamua nije nisomee kozi hii, angalau niende nijiunge na hao, alafu tuweze kuinua uelimu katika eneo hilo. Walimu wengi wameweza kuajiriwa. Kweli kabisa, hata yule ambaye anamaliza kidato cha 4 natumai anawasia kujiunga na chuo cha walimu. Kile ambacho nataka ni mwarifu yeyote yule ambaye amesomea kozi hii, mambo yatakuwa mazuri. Tunashukuru rais wetu kwa kuweza kulitilia mkazo na kuweza kuajiri walimu. Tunasema hongera kwake na aendelee vivyo hivyo.
Are they zombies? I don't know.
Who are you? Requiem General of Rakshasa Street. And on this street here, I make the rules.
Wewe sema Sunde, nataka kukuongezea kazi.
No thank you. Naitwa Mwanaisha.
Hebu chikate.
Ndio kupika vizuri.
Pikie samaki.
Wataka kupakwa.
Napaka nini wewe?
Baba lakini vipi?
Nilitania wewe ni ng'ombe tu, kumbe hata mambo ya ukulima unachua. Nimepewa madaraka.
Yajawi ukua. Ama ulikuwa unataka nikuwekee kwa kikombe ugunwe.
Wewe kunifunza namna ya kula chakula.
Pima andalaka.
Tavuta ndume tatu na maua moja. Lakini mbona wewe hapana leta badi ya kwenyu? Utalete ama utalete?
Katunga kocha.
Nataka utoe hizi nguo zote kuanzia juu mpaka chini.
Some of us are busy building the country. Matobe. Twende maandamano.
Ndio. Haki yake.
Welcome back to the Legends edition. We continue with the news, where a section of leaders in Wajir County is calling on the government to invest more resources in the education sector and enhance a 100% transition for all learners in the area. Speaking during the Madaraka Thematic Week, the leaders regretted the poor education standards in the region, disclosing that majority of children are not enrolled in schools and are instead engaged in pastoralism.
On Saturday, education stakeholders converged at Wagberi Primary School in Wajir Town for the culmination of the Madaraka Thematic Week. Celebrated under the theme Education, Skills and Future, learners showcase their skills and talents.
There are different things that they are making. For example, there's the survey holder, fruit holders and some tea holders. Same time, they are making mats and stools which are showing their cultures. So this talent of theirs, it is mainly seen from CBC, in which it will help them in future. For example, after they finish their school, at least they can make some income from these skills that they have learned.
Due to over-irrigation, all the crops drying, due to under-irrigation, this project helps the farmer to know the amount of water that can be able to irrigate, that can help the farmer to irrigate the farm. This is how our system works. We have the soil moisture sensor. It detects the amount of moisture in the soil.
Culture and Heritage Principal Secretary Umi Bashir emphasized the importance of embracing arts and crafts courses offered as part of the competency-based education curriculum.
The Department of Culture, Arts and Heritage works very closely with the Ministry of Education so that our children can have a background and a backing of positive cultures, of good nurturing, of discipline, of love and peace, so that when they go out there to the rest of the world, they can represent themselves, they can express themselves, and they can be proud of being a Kenyan.
As Wajir County prepares to host the 63rd edition of the Madaraka celebrations, a clarion call has been made by local leaders to enhance the education system in this northern part of Kenya, which has lagged behind for decades.
We've been lacking the facilities. Many of our students are still studying under trees. We still have classrooms that have been separated 3 to 4 times by cardboard boxes or, ceiling boards. And we have a shortage of teachers as well. So this problem of lack of facilities and lack of resources, including the human resource base, which are the teachers, has dealt education in Northeastern a blow.
Parents were also urged to take seriously the education of their children for a better future.
maybe from 90s or 80s. That's the people when they got educated. And some mothers, most of the parents are illiterate. Most of them. I'm urging them when their children, they have to come, they have to tell them to come to school and attend. However, even their schooling, still we are having challenges due to lack of understanding how education is so important.
Reporting for Legends Edition from Wajir County, my name is Kasichana Masha.
Thank you, Kasichana Masha, reporting there from Wajir County. And Kenya is for the first time in decades expected to host the historic Twende Zetu Butiama Pilgrimage Safari, a historic cross-border journey aimed at celebrating and paying homage to the legacy of Jomo Kenyatta, one of the founding fathers of the East African community. The symbolic pilgrimage, slated for October this year, is expected to wind through key historical landmarks, including Parliament buildings, before culminating at Kenyatta's ancestral home in Ishaweri, Gatundu, ahead of this year's Mashujaa celebrations. John Kahiro with that report.
For decades and counting, the vision of a united East Africa has lived through the spirit of the region's founding fathers, who envisioned a borderless community bound not only by geography but also by culture, language, and a shared destiny. And for the last 2 decades, the spirit has found expression through the annual Twende Zetu Butiama Pilgrimage Safari, which is a regional symbolic journey that has been focusing on celebrating the legacy and Pan-African ideals of Tanzania's Mwalimu Julius Nyerere.
Every year, we gather in Butiama to pray for Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere. The Catholic Church has initiated a process to pray for Mwalimu Nyerere to become a saint.
The chapter is, however, taking a regional dimension. Through the unveiling of the 3rd edition of the exercise in Kampala, Uganda, this year's edition has extended the scope, with Uganda and Kenya joining Tanzania for the very first time in hosting the cross-border historical exercise.
Mwalimu never worked alone. So we are done with Uganda. We've gone to Tanzania. Now we will move to the Republic of Kenya.
We'll also be extending the pilgrimage to the home of Dr. Apollo Milton Obote as a founding father of the East African community, and all the way to Ishaweri in Kiambu, the home of Kenya's founding president.
The symbolic journey, slated for October this year, is expected to trace the legacies of East Africa's liberation icons, including Milton Obote, Julius Nyerere, and Kenya's Jomo Kenyatta. Kenya's High Commissioner to Uganda, Ababu Namwamba, says the historic exercise will also provide Kenya with an opportunity to showcase its cultural heritage and tourism potential, while strengthening regional ties among East African community member states.
We will be very ready to welcome the pilgrimage to Kenya for the first time. Pilgrimage is coming to Kenya for the first time. So we want to be ready in Ishaweri, Kiambu, and we'll be working with the Kenyatta family so that we can properly make arrangements for this.
Leaders led by Africa Mashariki Festival Chief Executive Officer Dr. Ronex Kisembo at the same time renewed calls for regional cooperation in a bid to advance a more integrated and politically federated bloc.
Free movement of people, goods and services across our region is critical before we even think of politicking. So our regional parliament, our council of ministers, the summit, we should all embark on this journey, for example, of going to Butiama. Have a sit down, take stock of the journey. Where are the challenges? How do we address them? And finally, let us involve young people. Let young people be involved to be the vanguard of this exercise.
The culmination of the launch saw the unveiling of a special committee to spearhead the promotion and adoption of Kiswahili across Africa as the language of communication, trade, and regional integration.
Our mission, sisi, nguvu yetu tulionayo ni kwa jinsi gani tunaweza kusogeza mbele uamuzi wa Umoja wa Afrika wa kuanza kuifanya Kiswahili lugha ya kazi na kufanya Kiswahili lugha rasmi.
The third edition of this pilgrimage will offer the three countries a chance to tap into the rich history and legacy of the founding fathers, while at the same time providing an opportunity for them to deliberate and come up with common solutions to challenges cutting across East African community member states. For Channel 1 News from Uganda's capital, that is Kampala, my name is John Kahiro.
Thank you, John Kahiro, reporting there from Uganda. Now, tear gas and gunshots disrupted the funeral procession of a slain Sigalagala National Polytechnic student, Derek Machanja, in Kakamega town. Machanja was allegedly shot dead by police during protests against the fuel price hike. This and more stories in the County News Roundup.
Hundreds of students took to Griders and youth stage protests demanding justice for Sigalagala National Polytechnic student Derek Machanja, who was allegedly shot dead by police during anti-fuel price demonstrations in Maraba earlier this week. The student's body was reportedly removed from the morgue at night under heavy police escort, despite plans for a public daytime procession. Protesters later retrieved the body and escorted it back to town on motorcycles, chanting anti-government slogans and accusing the police of brutality.
Makarau walichukua mwili wakifikiria hatuwezi chukua mwili. Walichukua mwili saa 11 saa 10 wakipeleka base.
Elsewhere in Kirinyaga, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority has intensified efforts to strengthen the relations between police officers and members of the public.
We are here to do some outreach to the citizen and, more importantly, to bridge the gap between the citizen and the police, and particularly the kind of relationship and support which is required from either party. The police cannot be able to work without the citizens. The citizen cannot also be safe and secure without.
In West Pokot County, legislators have called on teachers to prioritize the safety of learners in boarding schools.
Tuchunge watoto, kwanza watoto wa borders, kwa sababu wale watoto waliungua, tunasema pole na hiyo ni changa la kitaifa. Mimi nasema walimu mchunge watoto. Kwanza kama watoto wanalala shule, walale na mtu mkubwa. Munaita matron.
And finally, Kenya Railways has confirmed that the Nairobi Gilgil Olkalau Nyahururu railway line is fully rehabilitated and ready for operation.
Nimefurahi kusema ukweli, sijaiona reli, ni mara yangu ya kwanza kuiona ikipita. So kumaanisha kwamba tuko na matumaini tutakuwa tunabebwa na hii wakati tunaenda safari.
Inside that prepackaged food, those unhealthy ultra-processed foods high in sugar, salt or unhealthy fats can lead to diseases.
According to the Ministry of Health, approximately 39% of all deaths in Kenya are as a result of non-communicable diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cancer and high blood pressure. The foods and drinks we consume every day can affect our health more than we realize.
Clear information on packages about what's in our food can help us have a healthy diet. From the Food Policy Coalition Kenya.
And thank you so much for staying with us. It is time for the latest from the sports desk with me, Bernardo Kuma. I know there is a big match going on across the world, and that's the Champions League final between PSG and Arsenal. 1-1 into extra time. We'll be able to give you the final result at the end of that particular encounter during this bulletin. Let's begin with what's happening in the country, where the national under-17 women's soccer team, Junior Starlets, have qualified for the third and final round of the 2026 FIFA Under-17 Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifier, despite being held to a 0-0 draw by Uganda during their second leg encounter played at Nyayo National Stadium. Now Kenya advanced to the third round on away goal rule, having held Uganda to a 1-0 draw in the first leg played last week on Friday in Kampala. Following the win, Kenya will now face either South Africa or Tanzania in the third round. Tanzania will attempt to overturn a 2-0 deficit when the two sides meet in the second leg tomorrow in Pretoria. After the conclusion of the third round fixtures, 4 aggregate winners will qualify for the 2026 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup scheduled October in Morocco. Kenya is bidding to return to the global showpiece for the second time in 3 years after a historic debut in 2024 when the finals were held in Dominican Republic.
Brenda Chen anapiga kwa mbali. Brenda Chen anabatiza mtu na anaiweka juu kwa juu, bado haiondoka. Piga na kubatiza mtu. Brenda Chen anapiga. Brenda, kuna mtu kumaliza, kujituma pakubwa kabisa, kipata ushindani mkubwa sana wa mwanadada huyu. Amuzi wakati kati ya uwanja Emmanuel Clement anakipuliza kipicheza michuano.
That we needed a goal to win this match. I'm really proud of them. If you look at the way we played 2025, this is a huge improvement. There's so much maturity in the team now. It has taken me 2.5 years to get the right combinations, the right players for this kind of matches. And I'm going to say the result is most probably not what we're happy about, but the performance has improved. Mechi imekuwa ngumu. Of course kucheza nyumbani ni advantage, lakini bado imekuwa ngumu. But tunashukuru kwa ile advantage tulipata first leg. Mabinti tuliwaambia tuko na advantage ya kwanza. Sasa kama hatuwezi funga, tuweze kuzuia, tupate point yenye tunapata kwa hii game.
And well done to the junior starlets for getting over the line. And now either South Africa or Tanzania wait in the third and final match of the qualifiers, just 90 or slightly 180 minutes away from another historic debut at the Under-17 World Cup. Elsewhere, the Kenya national rugby sevens men's team Shujaa lost 21-0 to Australia in the quarterfinals of the HSBC World Championship Series in a rematch of their pool meeting today at the Stadio Jose Zorrilla. They had met in their opening pool match where the Aussies won 15-10 before South Africa beat Kenya 14-0. Shujaa at least managed to advance to the quarterfinals of the main cup as the third best team after they beat Great Britain 12-7 in their last Pool A match. Festus Shiasi scored the first try for Shujaa after 2 minutes, but Nigel Amaisa missed the conversion. Charlton Kerr equalized for Great Britain with a try before the break, which was converted by Ron Frostwick as they took a 7-5 lead before halftime. Shujaa, however, made a comeback in the remaining half with another try from Patrick Odongo, which was converted by David Nyagige to seal the victory.
And Great Britain get one back.
And there he is, they got
it on and off the field.
We're making this up.
Balancing his career and finance while still committed to this and fighting for this Great Britain program and for the game of sevens. Wanyala clears away for Kenya. Need to get back into it. They butchered a try late in the half, right on half time. Sadi's dangerous, sniping around, and in the hands of good Oro. Oh, and he's got a Dongo with him this time. Kerr again trying to stay in, and then he slips off it, and Patrick Odongo puts Kenya in front.
There's a high tackle. And it was only a matter of time before Patrick Odongo Congo.
And Kenya will now face France. That's in the 7th place playoff tomorrow at 2:43 p.m. East Africa time. Kenya so far lies 7th on the 12-team log. And remember that the end of the series, which culminates in June, that's in Bordeaux, France, 4 bottom teams will be relegated to Division 2. Elsewhere, Kenya's karatekas, led by David Ngati, thrilled fans today at the UFAC Region East Karate Championship at the Nyayo National Indoor Arena here in Nairobi, with outstanding performances that carried the day.
Leading the way was David Ngati, who won 2 gold medals in an impressive display of skill and determination. Ngati first claimed gold in the senior men's individual kata after defeating fellow Kenyan Daniel Vahati in a close contested final. Earlier, he had overcome Bernard Kimachu in the semi-finals to secure his place in the title match. The Kenyan star then teamed up with Bahati and Kinacho in the team catcher event as the trio defeated Ethiopia in final to win another gold medal for Kenya. Kenya A finished third and took bronze. Kenya also dominated the women's event. Georgina Kanini won gold in the female senior individual kata ahead of Wambugu Mwangi, who took silver.
Kenya has performed very well in all categories, especially the junior, so the future is very bright. And we've also had a demo from the para, which is a new segment in the karate championships.
Our aim is to use the central area to bring the other countries and push the development of the region. This is why we are here, and it is my time to thank.
Meanwhile, Kenya's Flavian Kimunto delivered one of the most dominant performances of the tournament, beating Gloria Kanini 9-0 to win the female junior 59-kilogram committee title.
And to volleyball now, where the Kenya national men's volleyball team of Wafalme Stars will leave for Kampala tomorrow morning for the upcoming CAVB Zone 5 African Nations volleyball qualifiers scheduled to start on Monday. The team was flagged off yesterday at the Nyayo Stadium after being kitted by the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, having completed their training in the capital. Wafalme Stars are hoping to return to the country on the global stage of international competition in the Zone 5 qualifiers, which will serve as the qualification pathway for the 2027 FIVB World Championships and also the 2028 Los Angeles Olympic Games. The tournament is expected to attract some of the strongest volleyball nations in the region who will battle for valuable qualification points and regional supremacy. Kenya has signed a memorandum of understanding with the French Tennis Federation to support the development of the sport in the country. The event took place during the ongoing 2026 French Open on the famous clay courts of the Roland Garros. The signing was done today by the President of Tennis Kenya Federation, Wanjiro Mbogo Karani, and the President of the French Tennis Federation, Gilles Morton. The MOU involves creating a junior high-performance pathway for players who are aged 18 years and below, a clay court infrastructure and technical exchange, junior development pathway for players aged 14 and below from July this year, and reciprocal junior competition exchange starting from October to November this year with the ITF World Tennis Tour Juniors J60 and J100 events. It will also cover coach education and capacity building with coaching seminars and academy visits delivered during the ITF Junior events for Zone 4 regional coaches from October to December this year. Other areas include officiating development, club development, and governance alongside leadership federation management. The ceremony was also graced by, among others, Kenya's ambassador to France, Betty Cherwon, and the administrative secretary in the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Ivan Sachoki, who also got an opportunity to watch tennis star Novak Djokovic in action against Francesca, who triumphed. And of course, let's take a short break. We'll be back with more, including stories from the Swimming National Championships and also the Champions League final ongoing right now.
Are they zombies? I don't know.
Who are you? Requiem General of Rakshasa Street. And on this street here, I make the rules.
And welcome back. The Kenya Aquatics National Trial Center Day 2 today at the Kasarani Aquatics Center, with swimmers battling for places in the national team ahead of the upcoming international competitions. The trials have brought together some of the country's top swimmers, all gunning and seeking to secure qualification for major events, including assignments in Glasgow and other international competitions later this year. Athletes are being assessed based on their performances across various swimming disciplines, with selectors closely monitoring times and overall competitiveness. According to the selection criteria, swimmers who finish first in their respective events and attain the required FINA points will earn places in the national squad.
Right now, everybody is very excited. We're headed to Glasgow in the month of July for the Commonwealth Championships. So some of the athletes will be selected from this meet. There are those who already qualified when we were in Algeria.
Competition is very good. It's been well managed so far. There are touch pads, which is like a very good thing.
And the Kenya National Women's Rugby Sevens team are preparing for an all-out duel against South Africa in tomorrow's final crucial match of the Rugby Africa Women's Cup Performance Division, which will be played at 4 p.m. at the RFA grounds. It is indeed the 15th team and not the 7th squad.
The Lionesses have won all their 2 matches, starting in their opening match against Uganda Lady Cranes, whom they beat 43-10, as the South Africans blazed past Madagascar 64-5. Lionesses went on rampage against Madagascar in their second match to maul them 57-0 and take charge of the standings as South Africa settled for second after they beat Uganda 47-20. Both will face off tomorrow in an eagerly awaited final, where the Lionesses hope to dethrone South Africa, who have dominated the tournament from inception. Meanwhile, the RFA grounds hosted the Mwamba Cup today, whereby JKUAT Cougars won the title after an overwhelming 60-12 defeat of Mwamba Sports Club rugby team at the RFA grounds.
And on training grounds across Kenya, a unique sporting movement is quietly gaining ground. Fistball, a sport with roots in Europe and strong following in Germany, Austria, Switzerland and Brazil, is steadily finding its place in the Kenyan sporting landscape, as Daniel Mwendwa reports.
This sport was introduced in Kenya by Morgan Kirimi, whose vision has helped spread the game to different parts of the country. What started as an unfamiliar sport has now attracted young players eager to learn its rules and master its skills.
Fistball is a volleyball sport, played more or less similar to volleyball, with some differences, slight differences, like the ball is allowed to bounce during the play, the court is slightly bigger, and very fun and more engaging and interesting.
It's a fun game, and a very nice game. And as a teacher, we have, as teachers and the other members of the society, we have to mentor the young ones.
Fistball combines elements of volleyball and tennis, with the players using their fists and arms to strike the ball over the net.
Why tennis? Because the ball has to hit the ground before you respond to it. All right? Why volleyball? Because you have the opportunity of hitting it 3 times.
The fast-paced game demands speed, teamwork and precision, making it both challenging and exciting for athletes.
Hii game seti ni ngumu. Hii game Kenya iko nayo tu ni some changes and some ni rules kidogo tu ambazo zimechange.
Our students, now that they play volleyball, they are well fast with the game. The rules are almost the same, so therefore they are doing well. We have trained for a very few days and then they have already captured everything. Although we are still familiarizing ourselves with the rules, we are doing well.
We have started grassroots support from schools level. We are in the process of training teachers who are going to train learners at various levels, hoping to proceed all the way up to national level.
As interest continues to grow, so is participation in international championships, with the Kenya national under-18 team already preparing for the upcoming World Under-18 Fistball Championship slated in Switzerland later this year.
We are on the process of making a final preparations to ensure that our flags, Kenyan flag, goes high during the competition. So the players on the ground are very much ready to participate.
If the game is introduced to all cadres, then we are likely to have a very strong team, a strong team, talents developed, and representing our country just like we have in other sports.
Imekuwa safari njema, haijakuwa na matatizo mengi kwa usaidizi wa walimu wetu wa michezo. Pia tumekuwa na mkufunzi wetu Coach Gideon, na imekuwa ni kitu inapendeza sana. Shule yetu imekuwa inashikilia masomo, michezo, pamoja vitu vingi.
For many of the young players, the tournament presents an opportunity to showcase their talents while flying the Kenyan flag in a sport that is still developing locally. Despite facing the challenges such as limited facilities and low public awareness, the sport supporters remain optimistic. They believe Kenya has the potential to become a force in the international fistball through continued investments, training and grassroots development.
They are playing in the field and they are doing well. So the only challenge is we need to get the sponsorship for the players to be able to participate.
Other than Namibia, we don't have any other country that is playing fistball from Africa. So this is an opportunity where every other person can join and they have the opportunity of being selected to represent the country.
Hii game inapeleka watu Switzerland. Najua huko kuko sawa. Naweza encourage tu mko pop na msiseme hii game ni ngumu. Hii game si ngumu.
For Legends Edition, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
And thank you so much, Dan Mwendo, for that report. Let's look at what's happening in the world of basketball, where the 2026 BAL season will conclude tomorrow, Sunday, when the 2024 BAL champions Petro di Luanda of Angola take on the home team and BAL debutants RSSB Tigers of Rwanda at the BK Arena in Kigali, Rwanda. In the meantime, back in Kenya, Nairobi City Thunder's Aerial Local is beaming with joy after receiving the 2026 BAL Ubuntu Award for his contribution in Kenya's basketball scene. Aerial Local has been using the game to empower young women through a program that combines basketball training with mentorship, education, life skills for the exceptional contributions to the community. And definitely that puts a cap on our Legends Editions at Sports Desk this lovely evening. But just to give you an update of what's happening at the Pushkas Arena, that's in Budapest, many, many miles away from here. But it is 1-1, penalty shooters on. The match, of course, ended all square, 1-1 after normal time and added and extra time. So it is into the penalties, and I can see it's all square. 1-1 with PSG having scored their second penalty, and Arsenal, of course, now coming to take their second penalty. We'll be giving you all these details and final results of these stories and others on our website, www.kbc.co.ke/sport. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernard Okumu.
Well, thank you so much, Bernard Okumu, bringing us the sports updates there. And that's where we draw the curtain on the Legends Edition tonight. Thank you so much for your company and, of course, for choosing us to keep you informed. My name is Maria Yambo, and helping on the sign language was Byron Aboli from the entire team. Have a good night.
My name is Joseph Kabai.
I'm Trixie Adala.
She just left the bus she was sitting in.
I got to the bus that I was just unsettled. I was looking at everyone and I'm like, I don't think if there is anyone to talk to here.
Then the only vacant seat was next to me. I used to send her WhatsApp text messages. She could reply after 1 week.
And then he told me, you know, by the way, me, I don't want a girlfriend. And somebody warned me, don't go to Ngara kushona wedding gown.
Ukasema mimi naenda Ngara.
Alikuwa ameenda kaweka mpaka papo hapa yenye inashine.
Our last born, Emmanuel, 5 years right now. 1 month after, anamwosha jioni 7-8 hapo hivyo. Kafu ikianza. The baby convulsed, akakufa. But we prayed and he came back to life.
Yes.
Huh?